They told you to be kind, to be open, to be vulnerable, and you believed them. You let their lies coat your mind like syrup, sweet and comforting, until you swallowed weakness like it was virtue. They told you kindness was power. But tell me, what has that lie bought you? While you extended open hands, the wolves sharpened their teeth. While you waited to be seen, they took everything without asking. This world does not reward softness. It consumes it. And here you are, still bleeding in public, still hoping someone will notice your pain and offer mercy. But mercy is not the language of power. Respect is not born from visible wounds. It is carved from control, from silence, from the willingness to discard the emotional script you were handed at birth. They trained you to be the servant. They told you to wait for permission to rise, to be validated before you could act, to ask before you could conquer. You were given a framework built to keep you tame, predictable, obedient, and you followed it like a loyal dog. But loyalty without power is slavery. That emotional code you inherited, the one that tells you to always explain, always express, always connect, it's the virus in your system. It must be purged, because no king rises by consensus. He rises by design, by fire, by force. There is no savior coming, no mentor with the perfect answers, no lover who will kiss your scars and make you whole. This is your war, and it's fought in silence, in solitude, in strategy. If that makes you feel alone, good. That feeling is your awakening. Stop chasing comfort like it's your birthright. Start calculating like it's your only weapon, because it is. This isn't healing. This is the complete demolition of the old version of you. The one who waited, doubted, hesitated, he dies today. And from the rubble, you will rise not as a better man, but as a different kind of man. The one who knows that power is seized, not shared. The one who knows that softness has a price. And you've paid it long enough. They will test you. They will misunderstand you. Let them. Confusion is your camouflage. Let their assumptions become their downfall. You are not here to be understood. You are here to be unreadable. Your silence is your sword. Your stillness is your shield. You must become the man no one can predict. The man who doesn't beg for a seat at the table because he's building his own. And that starts now. Burn the blueprint you were given. It was handed to you by cowards. The ones who told you to be moral only when it served them. Be good, be kind, be liked. But only when it kept you small and you obeyed. What has it earned you? Rejection, confusion, powerlessness dressed in fake nobility. You must now replace everything. Your thoughts, your reactions, your identity. Nothing about the old self survives. Your beliefs were installed by people who needed you tame. Your reactions were shaped by those who benefited from your compliance. That version of you, he was designed to be used. He was never meant to rise. He was predictable, forgettable, digestible. Burn him. Strip his skin from your bones and rebuild from steel. Because you cannot lead if you're still afraid to be disliked. You cannot rise if you're still addicted to being accepted. Delete the fake confidence. Erase the need for approval. Purge the ambitions you diluted to make others comfortable. You don't need balance, you need transformation. And transformation is violent. It is merciless. Weak men try to evolve without pain, without sacrifice. Strong men, they erase everything. They start at zero with eyes wide open and blades sharpened. This is not about fixing. This is about replacing. You do not patch up old programming. You burn it to ash, your comfort zone. It's a coffin padded with convenience, lined with your wasted potential. The fire inside you, feel it. That discomfort, that tightness in your chest, it's not a problem. It's your signal. Your body knows it's time to break the shell. Stop cradling your weakness like it's a pet. Smash it, because rebirth does not ask permission. It erupts. And if you don't shatter the shell, it becomes your grave. Death isn't always physical. Sometimes it's a life that never became what it was meant to be. Your first order, delete the man you were trained to be. Etch that in stone. Say it until it becomes breath. My past self is ashes. You're not here to cope. You're not here to feel better. You are here to construct a new kingdom and sit on a throne forged in discipline. You are here to become the architect of your control. Because power is not loud. It is composed. And you've bled emotionally for free too long. That ends here. From this moment forward, you are a vault, a weapon with no trigger unless it serves purpose. No reaction becomes your new standard. You will not flinch, you will not lash out, you will watch, you will calculate, you will let others break themselves, and then you will move. Your restraint is not weakness, it is war, the war of stillness, the war of silence. You will learn to use your emotions like a general uses troops, precisely, strategically, without mercy for error. Anger is your fire, not your fuel. Fear is a warning light, not a stop sign. Sadness, that's a depth charge. Use it to sharpen, not to sink. This world trains men to be emotional so they can be manipulated, but not you. You will build walls, not wounds. You will think in chess, not checkers. 5 moves ahead, not 5 seconds late. You will become the man who cannot be read, and therefore cannot be controlled, because the man who reacts loses. The man who is triggered is owned, and the man who is owned will always be beaten. Your new rule, if it triggers you, it owns you. Fix that or be used forever. From now on, you are your own handler. Master your expression, master your tone, master your pauses. That half second before you speak, that is your new sword. Use it. It cuts sharper than anything you say after. You are silence behind the storm. You are the pause before the strike. You are the man who speaks only when words build empires. There's a part of you you've buried, a shadow you were told to fear, the rage, the fire, the hunger. You locked it away to be accepted. But that shadow isn't a curse. It's a power source. It's raw, cold, electric, and it's waiting. Stop suppressing. Start wielding that darkness inside you, the one that remembers every insult, every betrayal, every time they underestimated you. That's not weakness. That's your foundation. That's your fuel. You don't destroy it. You train it. You tame it. You aim it. Every pain you've run from, every failure you try to forget. Stack them. Build with them. This is not about healing through peace. It's about forging through pressure. The man who has made peace with his darkness cannot be destroyed by it. And the man who pretends to be pure, he's the one who breaks when tested. You'll be the man who has sat with his demons and turned them into soldiers. Be terrifying, not reckless. Be sharp, not soft. The world does not need your purity, it respects your restraint. Power held under control is what shakes the room. Not performance, not noise, but presence. Look at yourself, not the smile you wear, not the mask you perform with. Look deeper. There's a hunger behind those eyes. That version of you, he doesn't want applause. He wants conquest. He doesn't care about validation. He cares about mission. Give your darkness purpose, and you become untouchable. You become the presence that shifts a room without a word. You become the force that even the loudest men learn to fear in silence. Stop hiding from that power. Drag it into the light. Give it orders. Shape it. Control it. Rule through it. Sharpen your instincts like blades. Protect your purpose like a fortress. Weak men fear their darkness. Strong men master it. You've got a war to win, and light alone won't get you there. So summon the part of you that refuses to break. Say it and mean it. My darkness obeys me. You are not here to escape pain. You are here to weaponize it. You are not here to be understood. You are here to be felt. Not just seen, but sensed. Even in silence, especially in silence, most people stumble through life with open eyes and blind minds. They react, assume, chatter, and expose. But not you. You will train your mind to observe like a sniper. No wasted movement, no wasted emotion, no wasted shots. Every twitch, every hesitation, every glance away when truth is spoken, it all tells you something. You're not here to be noticed. You're here to notice. When you enter a room, you are the ghost in the corner, the shadow behind the silence. You don't rush to speak. You study. Who's anxious? Who's faking strength? Who breaks the silence too fast? The insecure always overcompensate. The weak always try to dominate with noise. You stay still. You let the show unfold, and you watch the mask slip with every word they speak. Because real power is quiet. Real power doesn't bark. It listens. It calculates. It waits for the precise moment when one word becomes a weapon. Stop needing to be liked. Start needing to be aware. Patterns are your truth, not promises. Watch how they speak, not what they say. Loyalty is not what they claim, it's what they repeat when they don't think you're watching. You must become fluent in tension, in micro-expressions, in shifts of energy. Learn the difference between a smile and a smirk, between agreement and submission. Most people broadcast their weakness while begging to appear strong. Let them. You're not paranoid. You're precise. You're not cold. You're calculated. And every second you delay your reaction, every moment you withhold response, you gain an edge. Because while others expose their hands in a rush for approval, you remain unreadable. And what cannot be read cannot be controlled. This isn't manipulation, it's survival. In a world of masks and motives, you either master the game or get played by it. Say it, I see what others hide. That's your armor, that's your advantage. You walk in silence, but you see everything. You were told to be yourself, but that advice was crafted for men who aim to stay soft. No one ascends by remaining the same. The truth, masks are mandatory. You must be who the moment demands, not who your comfort suggests. Authenticity is a luxury. Adaptation is survival. Machiavelli said, a wise man must imitate both the lion and the fox. Become both, but never reveal either. Play virtue when watched. Unleash ruthlessness when you are alone. Appear generous. Act precise. If you want to rule the current, control your image. Let your smile comfort. Let your silence intimidate. Let your presence speak what words never can. This isn't faking. This is crafting your legend. You are not a personality, you are a brand. You are an identity sculpted through discipline and projection. No one climbs high showing their real hand. No one becomes king without shadow. Tell them what they want. Then do what you must. Keep them guessing, keep them calm. Feed them illusion. But always keep your blade sharp. You do not lie. You maneuver because the man who can adapt to any room becomes the most dangerous man in it. Every place you enter is a stage. At work, be the agreeable ally until it's time to lead. In negotiation, be the fool until the game tilts in your favor. In confrontation, look emotional. While plotting your victory, 3 moves ahead. Control how you're perceived, and you control how others move. Never reveal your core. Let them show their hands first, then strike. Speak less. Let others assume. Mirror their energy if needed. Break it if tested. Your masks are not deceit. They are tactical gear. They protect your truth and expose theirs. Predictability is death. Mystery is life. When they say, I am who I am, understand that as a man already caged by his programming. You are fluid. You are fire inside water. You walk in as a blank slate and become exactly what leverages you forward. That is power. That is the art of unseen dominance. You don't need everyone to like you. You don't need them to understand. You need results. You need control. When they love you, be gracious. When they envy you, say nothing. When they fear you, let it grow. Never correct them. Never explain. Power is perception. Make yourself rare. Make yourself precise. Choose 3 masks. The diplomat, the phantom, the king. Master them. Wear them. Use them. Drop them only when alone. Your inner world remains sacred. Your outer world is always strategy. Say it now. I wear masks to rule. You do not play fair. You play effectively. And part of playing effectively is mastering the art of boundaries. You do not rise by being available. You rise by being selective, scarce, and uncompromising. Every time you say yes when you mean no, you sell a piece of your power. Every time you explain your choices to someone who doesn't deserve your truth, you dilute your worth. Boundaries are not selfish. They are sacred architecture. They are walls that protect the empire you are building. Most men have none, and so they are drained, depleted, disrespected. But you will no longer trade access for approval. From this point forward, no is your first language. No explanations, no guilt, no apologies. If someone resents your boundary, it means they were benefiting from your lack of it. Good. Let the parasites go. Let the users fall away. Let the dependent ones cry. You are not a crutch, you are a fortress. And fortresses don't bend because someone knocks too hard. You don't need peace with everyone. You need power over your own life. And power demands space. Power demands limits. The people who call your clarity cruel are simply afraid of confrontation. But confrontation is not cruelty. It is honesty. It is clarity delivered with calm finality. Audit your circle. Look closely. Who drains you? Who asks without offering? Who wraps their entitlement in politeness? These aren't friends, they are liabilities. Cut them. Not emotionally, strategically. You're not running a motel, you're building a kingdom. And only those who bring discipline, loyalty, or vision deserve access to your inner gates. Even then, doors stay locked until they prove themselves again and again. Your schedule is sacred, your time is sovereign, your presence is earned. Let people wonder where you went. Let them miss you. Because silence creates gravity. Scarcity breeds respect. No one deserves access just because they remember your name. This is your masculine responsibility to guard your empire like a general defends a border. You don't need to yell to draw the line. A calm no with direct eye contact is louder than a scream. Practice it. Say it without tone, without apology, without hesitation. And when they push back, as they always do, hold, because your job is not to fold under guilt. Your job is to make it clear. This man doesn't bend. Not for comfort, not for history, not for anyone. Say it and mean it. My boundaries are law. You're not becoming bitter. You're becoming bulletproof. You're not pushing people away. You're protecting your future. From now on, your time is currency, your energy is capital, and your boundaries, they are non-negotiable. You don't build circles of comfort. You forge alliances. Friendships are emotional liabilities. Alliances are strategic leverage. You don't rise by collecting people. You rise by aligning with purpose. So ask yourself, who in your circle sharpens you? Who elevates your standard? Who challenges your blind spots? If the answer is no one, then you're surrounded, not supported. You don't need connection. You need contribution. You don't need bonding. You need alignment. The man who still fears walking alone is not ready to lead. You must cut with precision. Keep only those who serve your direction. You're not heartless, you're efficient. And efficiency is king. Say it now. I build circles of power. You are not a host, you are a sovereign. You are not a caretaker of comfort, you are a constructor of legacy. And that legacy is protected not by kindness, but by code. Your silence is no longer a gap, it's a signal, a sign that control sits quietly, that the storm watches before it strikes. You are no longer one of them. You are the presence they feel, the tension they can't explain. You are becoming a weapon. Silence has always been misunderstood by the masses. To them it's awkward, it's failure, it's fear. But to you it's design, it is the language of control. The pause before the strike, the void that demands revelation. The loudest man in the room is always the most fragile. He fears the quiet because in it his lies lose oxygen. His voice fills space not because it holds weight, but because he is terrified of being forgotten. But you are not terrified. You are terrifying. Because your silence is not emptiness, it is calculation, observation, power restrained like a lion crouched in tall grass. You don't speak to be heard, you speak to shift gravity. When you open your mouth, the air should tighten. The temperature should change. People should pause because they've been conditioned to feel that your silence is the norm, and your voice is an event. You are not here to fill the slants. You are here to weaponize. Every second you do not speak becomes a mirror. People project onto it. They reveal themselves in the void you create. Their fears, their insecurities, their desperation to be affirmed, all of it rises in the tension you refuse to break. That is how silence becomes dominance. Train yourself to speak less but mean more. Let pauses stretch, let the room squirm, let sentences hang like unshathed blades, and when they beg for resolution, say only what multiplies your power. Because every unnecessary word is a crack in your armor. Every compulsion to explain is a leak in your fortress. You don't explain, you direct, you don't argue, you declare, you don't fill space, you define it. And in a world addicted to noise, your silence will feel like thunder. Let others chase applause. You chase advantage. Let them talk first. Let them reveal their hand. Let them try to impress you with volume while you sit still like a king at war council. Because when the noise dies and all the cards are shown, you, the silent man, will already know how to move. You've gathered the information while they spilled themselves into the room. That is not charisma. That is psychological warfare. That is high-level presence. And that is yours now. Don't mistake stillness for inaction. Don't mistake silence for retreat. Every moment you hold your tongue, you build pressure. And when the time comes to release, you don't explode. You execute with precision, with finality. You are not unpredictable because you are chaotic. You are unpredictable because you are unreadable. That is the apex predator, not the one who growls, the one who watches, the one who waits, the one whose gaze alone changes behavior. Refuse to explain yourself. Let misunderstandings live. Let assumptions rot. You are not here to be decoded. You are not here to be emotionally digestible. You exist above interpretation. That is your position now, to be silent, rare, and studied. The man who seeks to be understood opens the gates to his kingdom. But the man who remains mysterious, he commands attention by simply standing still. So be felt, not heard. Be known without being known. Be the riddle they whisper about when you leave the room. And now you must kill the child within who still seeks pleasure like a beggar. Because pleasure is the leash. It disguises itself as reward. But its purpose is enslavement. Every time you chase it without thought, you abandon your throne. The world has turned pleasure into a weapon. Cheap food, fake validation, constant distraction, all of it designed to turn lions into house cats. But you are not a cat. You are a storm in chains. And those chains, they are comfort. Soft, warm, deadly. Discipline is not a practice. It is your new religion. It is not something you do. It is something you are. The man who delays gratification, who resists impulse, who walks away from the shortcut. He becomes inevitable. Every time you say no to what feels good now, you say yes to the man who owns the battlefield later. That is the trade. And most men will never make it. They sell their destiny for 10 seconds of dopamine 10,000 times a year, and then wonder why their life is hollow, not you. You will sit in fire. You will starve the comfort cravings. You will say no until your no becomes muscle memory. Because the empire you are building is not made of bricks, it is made of standards. And every discipline you deploy is another wall that cannot be breached. The man who wins is not the fastest. He is the one who cannot be pulled. He commands his time, his hunger, his focus. He wakes not asking what feels good, but what builds his fortress. The gym is not about vanity. It is about command. The diet is not about image, it is about fuel. The business is not about money, it is about leverage. The silence is not about absence, it is about threat. Everything you do now has a purpose, and that purpose is dominion. So every time you feel tempted to indulge, remember the cost. Every scroll, every binge, every distraction is a silent theft. Not of your moment, but of your future. The kings who endure are not flashy, they are disciplined. Their crowns are not gold. They are forged from patterns no one sees, from 10,000 small decisions that no one applauds. And that is your path now. Invisible victories, silent upgrades, internal refinement. Because you no longer need credit. You need control. You don't grind for applause. You grind for presence, for power that radiates. Not because it is seen, but because it is felt. And every day you will be tested. Every day a new pleasure will beg for your attention. And your job is not to resist. It is to dominate. Walk past temptation, not with effort, but with purpose. You are not denying pleasure because you are weak. You are doing it because you are already full. Full of vision, full of fire, full of command. That is the new addiction. Discipline, precision, immovability. Say it. Pleasure obeys my discipline because now it does. And if it doesn't, you cut it. Understand this. The world does not reward restraint, it rewards consumption. But restraint is your revolt. It is your rebellion. While they binge, you build. While they chase highs, you stack legacy. While they burn in indulgence, you become fireproof. And one day, not by accident, you will walk into a room and silence it. Not because you are loud, but because you are undeniable. A man who cannot be seduced. A man whose power speaks without performance. A man who has mastered himself beyond comfort. That is not a dream. That is a decision made over and over in the dark, when no one sees, when no one claps, when no one understands. The man who becomes the storm is forged in repetition, and every small unseen act of discipline is a brick in his throne. You were not born to chase pleasure, you were born to wield it, not to be its slave, but to make it your servant. You touch it only when it serves your mission, only when it strengthens the fortress, not a second before. And when others collapse into temptation, you will stand, you will walk among the ruins untouched, because you did not build your kingdom on sand. You built it on silence, on fire, on vision, on the refusal to bow to anything unworthy of your destiny. And even then, when you have risen, when your silence commands, when your fire is feared, when your fortress stands tall, you will not stop. Because that is the final trap. The belief that it's over, that you've arrived, that you've done enough. That illusion is death disguised as victory. It whispers rest, but it brings decay. You will never stop building. You will never stop sharpening. You will never stop watching because you understand the truth. Now the throne is not a reward. It's a responsibility. It must be earned daily, guarded hourly, reinforced relentlessly. Power is not a possession. It is a pulse. And you keep it alive with every act of precision, every rejection of comfort, every move made with intention. Say it. Nothing owns me but mission. That is the final law. You believed the game would end, that one day you'd reach some summit where everything would finally ease. Money in the bank, enemies silent, respect automatic, peace constant. But that illusion, it's the most seductive lie of all. The game doesn't end, it evolves. The moment you stop climbing, the world starts eating away at what you built. Comfort is the assassin dressed in silk. It lulls kings into softness, into arrogance, into rot. You do not arrive, you survive, you outmaneuver, you refine. Every crown you earn today will be tested tomorrow by time, by temptation, by those waiting for you to sleep. There are no finish lines. There is only pressure and response, evolution or erosion. You are not what you achieved. You are what you continue to execute even when no one watches. Especially then, your standards must outlive applause. Your precision must ignore praise. You don't need cheerleaders, you need code. Something written in your marrow that doesn't flinch when comfort beckons. Something steel, something sovereign. That's the real power. Not fire that burns once and fades, but a furnace that never dies. So what if you've done enough? Double it. So what if you've outpaced your enemies? Now outpace your old self. This battlefield changes shape every day. The threats mutate. The weapons evolve. The world will not spare you just because you were strong yesterday. Power isn't a trophy. It's a pulse. It's a pattern. It's a decision renewed every time the sun rises. You must rise with it. You must defend your ground with ritual, with discipline, with standards that don't negotiate. The world doesn't ask who you were. It asks who you are right now under pressure. And if your answers are outdated, you will be eaten by the very game you thought you mastered. So stay sharp even when there's no visible threat. Stay cold even when things seem warm. Stay strategic even when there's no applause to validate the effort. That's what separates kings from corpses. The man who confuses achievement with arrival has already begun to decay. The edge is what keeps you untouchable. And edge must be forged daily. You don't build once, you build always. That's not obsession. That's power management. Let the others retire into fantasy. Let them believe the myth of finally making it. Let them rot in comfort. You are not built to rest. You are built to reign. And reigning is not a throne you sit on. It's a war you fight quietly every day behind the scenes without recognition, without reward. Because you're no longer here for applause. You're here for dominion. Precision is your loyalty. Discipline is your creed. Silence is your spear. That's the difference between those remembered and those recycled by time. But don't confuse movement with mastery. Every grinder brags about their hustle, but very few refine. Very few direct their effort with elegance. It's not just about waking up early. It's about what you do with that early hour. It's not about lifting weight. It's about building inner strength to carry pressure without crumbling. Mastery is not noise. It is quiet accuracy. It is consistency when the world forgets your name. It is momentum when the motivation dies. It is the moment you look into the mirror and say, even if it all burns down, I will rebuild faster, colder, cleaner, because I am the system now. That's how you know you've become the weapon. When nothing outside of you holds your identity. When no loss can dismantle the core. Because the core is not a house, it's a forge. The mindset is now internal. The edge is not performance. It's instinct. The weakness gone. You've built something that cannot be stolen. That's what kings are made of. Not gold, not fame, but self-sufficiency under pressure, silence under chaos, focus under fire. But even then, when you've become untouchable, you don't stop. You don't celebrate. You recalibrate. Because the sharpest blade dulls fastest. You must polish the edge every single day. Not out of paranoia, but out of precision. Because you know what rest costs. It costs awareness. It costs advantage. And advantage is everything. A dull mind invites attack. A distracted man bleeds before the fight begins. You keep your sword drawn even in peace. You move like a ghost with teeth. You are poised even when you appear still. And when they think you're Resting, you're already moving again. This is not madness. This is mission. You're not surviving. You're dominating. And that domination requires daily maintenance. You wake up not to react, but to rebuild brick by brick, layer by layer. Not because you've lost it, but because that's the price of keeping it strong. The man who builds once and stops, he dies slowly. But the man who builds forever, he becomes legend, not a myth, a blueprint, studied in silence, respected in rooms he's never entered. But that is not your goal. Respect is a side effect. Your true aim is inner sovereignty, mastery of the chaos within, because that is the true battlefield. Not the competition, not the world, but the war in your own mind, the urges, the doubts, the shadows. That's your final opponent. And if you can master that, you are undefeatable. That's the truth you've been running from. That the enemy isn't outside, it's inside. It's the soft voice that wants to rest, to indulge, to explain, to be seen. Kill that voice. Replace it with a code, with laws, with a mission so powerful it drowns every excuse before it forms. And when that becomes your baseline, your minimum, your automatic operating system, you are free. Not free from struggle, free from slavery to emotion, free from manipulation, free from compromise. So say it, I am the storm in human form. That is not a metaphor, it is your truth. Now you walk into rooms and the air changes, not because you perform, but because you exist with intent. You no longer ask for space, you occupy it. You no longer seek respect, you embody it. You don't lead with ego, you lead with gravity. That is the difference. The final transformation. You are not here to be understood. You are here to be unforgettable. So now you understand this is not motivation, this is identity, not inspiration, but structure. You are not here to play the game. You are here to master it, to rewrite it, to rule it. Every word you've consumed, every sentence you've absorbed, every silence you've endured, they've built this moment. You are not a man anymore. You are weaponized. You are pain refined. You are silence calculated. You are discipline crowned. You have stopped chasing peace. You've started constructing legacy. You have stopped reacting. You've started directing. You are no longer shaped by others. You are the shape. You are the standard. And standards, they don't speak. They command. They don't plead. They expect. From now on, you don't hope for strength. You enforce it. You don't wish for respect. You demand it through presence, not plea. You don't look for leaders. You become one. And if this blueprint has lit something inside you, then act like a strategist. Don't clap. Don't comment. Build, move, enforce. Turn off the noise. Train in silence. Rebuild in private. Show them the result, not the process. Because the war is not out there. The war is within. And every step you take in silence is one the world will feel in thunder. Because this isn't motivation. This is war. And every war needs a ruler.